Yo, what is up guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. Welcome back yet again everybody. We are back with another review today on a brand spanking new fragrance. I believe it released a month ago and I'm probably the first or one of the first YouTubers to really break this down no hype style. Now this fragrance right here, in my opinion, if you are a guy and you heard about this fragrance, you've seen the bottle design, you've heard about the concept, you've heard about the name, I'm pretty sure that as a guy, you're stoked to find out what this fragrance could possibly smell like, because that's what happened to me. As a guy, as a lover of cars, man, this one got me pretty pumped. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys. Liking, subscribing, watching the ads, it's a great big deal to the channel. Not only does it help me procure a lot of these fragrances at a monster rate, but also it's a good way to show appreciation to these videos, guys. And thank you so much for your comments, your likes, your subscription. Thank you for your support. And the fragrance that I will be talking about today comes from the house of Penhaligons, guys. Yes, Penhaligons, the great British perfume brand Penhaligons. I'm a little late to the party when it comes to reviewing Penhaligons, but at least I'm here. I've got their latest perfume, guys, and Penhaligons, in my opinion, like, they've done some pretty nice perfumes, okay? They do have a wide array of perfumes. They have done gent scents and Middle Eastern scents. I've reviewed some of them. The Blazing Mr. Sam is definitely one of my favorite Penhaligons fragrances, and in my opinion, if you love to travel, if you love to live abroad, as a single guy even, I think that this is such a potent weapon right here. Such a potent, fragrant weapon, this Blazing Mr. Sam. And I also reviewed some of Penhaligons' Middle Eastern scents. Yes, they do make Middle Eastern scents. And I did review Cairo as well as Halfeti Cedar. Those are both great Middle Eastern scents that really have crossed into the mainstream, in my opinion. So if you haven't tried those, definitely check those videos out as well. The fragrance that we will be talking about today is none other than Penhaligon'S Sports Car Club. Yes, Sports Car Club, guys. This is our review today. It is the latest 2022 release from Penhaligons, and as you can see, this is the official sample right here. And that is why I said, if you are a guy and you've heard about this fragrance right here, I'm pretty sure I got your attention, because who doesn't love sports cars? I love sports cars. Who doesn't love sports cars? And this fragrance is not just about sports cars, but it is also an ode to the racing days of old. And we're talking about 1940s to 1950s Le Mans type races. Just look at the artwork right here, which you have in the bottle. It's the same one here in the official sample. You've got a vintage racing car. So this is an ode to the racing days of old. And if you also look in the literature, it also talks about the race day itself, the celebration of being there on race day. I'm sure you can liken that to today's Formula One. If you've actually been to any of those like Formula One events, you know it's a whole deal. It's not just about the race. It's about the classiness. It's about the people. It's about where you're seated and all these events leading up to the Formula One. So that's what it is, guys. This is not just about the sports car, but this is about the art of racing as well as a beautiful day out on race day. Now, without further ado, let's go spray this thing right now. Okay guys, let's go talk about Penhaligon'S Sports Car Club. Now, before I continue, let me give you guys a quick disclaimer about the testing process that I went through as I was testing this fragrance. Every time I tested this fragrance, I oversprayed it. If you look at this sample, it really doesn't spray much, you know? I don't think it's a lot. With only 3 sprays of this, guys, I really didn't get enough. I didn't get much so I could really review it properly. Like, it really wasn't that strong. It was only like a 4-hour scent in terms of significant scent. That's on 3 little sprays, guys, and it didn't extend much after that. So what I did was I oversprayed it, and every single time I tested this fragrance, I did about 11 sprays. And that's the reason why I got a backup right here. And if you look at the vials, they're completely done. And that's because I wanted to give this fragrance a fair shake. And I think 11 to 12 sprays from that little itty bitty vial could equate to maybe 4 or 5 sprays with a big bottle with a lot more juice. So with 11 sprays, I was able to get a real accurate read of this fragrance. Now let's look into the top notes, guys. On the top notes of Penhaligon's Sports Car Club, you've got pine as well as pink pepper right there, guys. Pine and pink pepper. And obviously, guys, if you look at the pine, this is indicative from the green juice of this fragrance right here. And I just got a poll recently about one of our subscribers asking for a spring summer fragrance that's not citrusy. Well, this is definitely one of them. You are gonna get cooling green pine, of course, which is really the hallmark of this fragrance. It's wonderful green cooling pine, but then with the pine also comes the spicy aroma of that pink pepper right there. And when you put those two together, guys, when you put that cooling, fresh, and green pine with the aromatic cold spice of pink pepper, you are gonna get basically a gent scent that's, you know, pretty standard in my opinion. When I tried this, the first impression was this is like a vintage scent. It's like a vintage man scent that reminds me also of Roja Scandal. Like Roja Scandal was something like that. It was like herbal with some spice, and it was like uplifting. It was like a nice standard issue gent scent. This one, pretty much the same, guys. But in my opinion, it's a lot more cooling than something like Roja Scandal right there. And I guess that's why they used a vintage car here in the artwork of the bottle. You know what I mean? They didn't really use a Lamborghini or a Porsche, a modern Porsche. They used a vintage car because the intro is very vintage, old school, masculine in its feel. Now this opening that is cool, refreshing, and definitely manly with the spice, this opening lasts 2 hours with my 11 sprays, with my nice overspray. This one here lasted for 2 hours, guys. And the next set of notes were a complete twist in my opinion. And I think that that is the game changer with this fragrance, because it goes from a vintagey intro, a very old school intro, into something more modern. And the rest of this fragrance is actually, to me, more contemporary than vintage. In comes the note of eucalyptus, guys, as well as cypress. Cypress is gonna be the backdrop of this fragrance right here. It is herbaceous, it's woody, it's a continuum from the pine. You could say that it's also cooling, but then the eucalyptus is really the game changer right here. And if you've smelled eucalyptus, you know that it's kind of minty, it's camphorous, it's thick, and right here in this fragrance, that is what kind of changes things. So you go from a vintage intro to something more different, more modern with that eucalyptus right there. Now this part right here with the eucalyptus, in my opinion, could be the love it or hate it part of Sports Car Club. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, in my opinion, the first part of Sports Car Club will appeal to a lot of the fundamentalists of fragrance collecting, the ones that are more into practical use and they want things to be kind of predictable, something that they know. And then right here with the eucalyptus, it's gonna be like a twist. It's a complete 180 from the vintagey part. And so this might shock you if you're not used to it. I saw this Fragcom feedback of somebody saying that this was like Ben Gay, that the eucalyptus was like Ben Gay. And I'm sure it was just a shock, you know? It's like you just don't expect it from a vintage, fresh green perfume with some spice to go straight into eucalyptus. But hey, that's how they developed it right here. Now, I personally like it because it goes modern. For me, the first part of Sports Car Club, I have tons of fragrances that do the same thing. Probably even cheaper options can do the same thing. I have a lot of these green, cool fragrances. So it's really not so groundbreaking to me. But this second part right here, I really like because it's got a minty profile. It's kind of different, kind of modern. I think that if you actually own a sports car, this is the part that you'll like on top of the first part. And I like it also because it changes the profile of the scent. It goes from fresh, spicy, really nice blast, and then it becomes this woody, herbaceous, minty, and camphorous part that is totally different. So definitely, if you are gonna try this, I would love to know how you guys feel about this twist in the mid with the eucalyptus. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now, the other reason that the eucalyptus is there is because it is a setup for the bridge note and the eventual bass notes, guys. Now, from this eucalyptus emerges ambroxan. Yes, ambroxan. And we all love ambroxan, at least a lot of guys do. And it's pretty evident that with the latest perfumes coming out that are heavy on ambroxan, a lot of y'all are fans of ambroxan. So you'll get ambroxan right here, and this is your musky, ambery smell coming out of that eucalyptus. It kind of emerges from the eucalyptus. It's a nice bridge because the eucalyptus is thick, it curves it, and then ambroxan comes out of it. And it is also a bridge into the eventual dry down notes of musk and patchouli. So it's kind of like a circle of life. It goes back into green with that patchouli, a spicy woody patchouli with some nice sensual musk to end this right here. Now, this dry down I like as well. I was able to smell it with that overspray of 12 sprays with a little vial right there. Again, this should equate to maybe 5 or 6 sprays of the big bottle, and it is a very inviting, a very fade to black, Netflix and chill, musky, sensual dry down right here. And it's nice, guys. It's nice. And I love that it bridges from the ambroxan, that it bridges from the eucalyptus right there in the mid. Now, concept wise, in my opinion, this fragrance, Penhaligon's Sports Car Club, really hits the nail on the head because this is the bread and butter of Penhaligons. They make a lot of these really good gent scents right there for the proper gent. And this one adds the dimension of a day out in the races when you feel the wind and you're dressed in a nice formal suit as you are watching these races. And so this is gentlemanly, it is fresh, it is proper, it is semi-formal to formal. And it is really a celebration, at least the feeling of it. It feels like you are wearing this to a celebration. And for me, that is a perfect message to market match with the name. And again, the mid right here of Penhaligon's Sports Club is the difference maker of the perfume, guys. Okay, it does make a difference. It is a 180 twist from this eucalyptus to eventual ambroxan and musk on the dry down right here. I'm really glad that they did this twist right here because it doesn't limit this fragrance to just another vintage old school scent. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of those in the market already, and I believe that there are collectors that really don't even want that. But this one right here, you can enjoy the best of both worlds. You can enjoy that beautiful vintagey first part that really will remind you of Le Mans, and then later on, it morphs into something more usable at present day. And I think that's what I like about this, that it morphs into that. It doesn't end the story right there on its vintage dimension. Now, of course, with the disclaimer I told you guys, I'm sure you're wondering what kind of performance did I get from this fragrance, from that overspray, that 11 to 12 sprays from that little vial right there. Now, for me, first 4 hours is pretty strong, okay? You're gonna get an aura scent for 4 hours. If you did overspray the vial, you're gonna get 4 hours of strong, significant scent, and that covers both parts of this fragrance. The first part with the fresh green spicy, and then the mid with the eucalyptus. And then 4 to 6, it progressively weakens, but it will become a lingering scent now. It's still gonna be there 4 to 6, guys, 4 to 6. And that I would say is like the ambroxan phase, ambroxan musk phase. And then of course, past 6 hours to I would say 8 hours is gonna be your here and there whiffs, kind of like ending, you know, with the musk and patchouli. The dry down, you can smell it, but it's here and there on the overspray. I would say the final 2 hours. So overall, it's like an 8 hour significant scent to me, with the first 4 hours being an amazing, like, thrill ride of a race car. Now this fragrance right here, I would recommend 100% for the gents, okay? If you are looking for a gent scent, definitely this is it. This fragrance is classy, no doubt. I think that it is an upscale grabber. It's not gonna be just your casual grabber because it brings a lot of classiness, and it's kind of like in the same vein as Clive Christian 1872, you know, minus the citruses. Like, definitely like 1872 male, this one is green, outdoorsy. It brings the spring as well as a classic gentlemanly touch. Now in my opinion, try this fragrance first, guys, okay? Do not blind buy this unless you think that this is predictable enough that this is exactly what you're looking for. And you can get free samples of Sports Car Club via the Penhaligon's site. Just Google the name and you'll be able to find a page where you can check out and get, well, pretty much as many as you like samples of this fragrance right here. All right, so that is it. That is my review of Penhaligon's Sports Car Club, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you are one of the first people who ever tried this fragrance. Let me know what you think, especially that eucalyptus twist in the middle. I would love to know. And again, thank you for liking and subscribing, guys. Thank you so much for being part of my journey running this channel, and hopefully I've been helpful in your perfume journey. So please continue to support the channel, and I will see you guys on the next video. God bless, take care, peace.